Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything is good wherever you are. I hope everything is good wherever you guys are from. I hope you guys are keeping well, staying safe, all the good stuff. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video and all that good stuff. You know, you guys know the score. Hit the like button, smash that like button. Let's get the likes to 60, 70, 100. Let's see if we can push boundaries. Let's say 200. Let's see if this video can get 200 likes. I just want to push the boundaries for you guys. But guys, I wanna, you know, talk about an issue, a big issue with what Old Diaz said about the Golovkin and Canelo fight. He said Saul Canelo Alvarez has waited for Gennady Golovkin to get old. He's waited for him to become a granddad. That's what Canelo Alvarez has done. He says, for me, no. For us people that live boxing, no. Why not? We've already seen the first one and the second one. If you ask me personally what I think and you want to hear it without filters, what for? It's been 4 years already. They waited for him to get old. What for? Says Old Diaz. It's clear that Canelo has done with his rivalry. Okay, so let's move forward. He says the only thing that's going to happen is Canelo is going to go over there and put a beating on Golovkin. He's 40 years of age. They should have already done it earlier, maybe one year after the last one, 2018, not 4 or 5 years later. They created a monster in Canelo and they let Golovkin get old. When Golovkin fought Sergio Derevyanchenko in New York, I was there and honestly thought he lost. If you ask me, I'll tell you straight up, I thought he lost. I thought GGG lost that fight. He is, but where is he at? Diaz said. And he goes, he's not at the Canelo level. GG and Canelo are another level. To fight Derevyanchenko, who is good, but he's not at that level, and your close fight with 1 point separating them says a lot. GG is still strong, but 40 is 40. At the age of 40, a lot of wear and tear. It takes a lot of you. I don't see a lot of wear and tear. It takes a lot out of you. I don't see it, but some people, it's good fight. The first one was in no doubt and the second one was in no doubt. So now what they want to see is a final fight and to make it final. What's going to happen? Canelo is going to beat him up bad and that's it. People will be happy. You wanted it, there it is. They don't see it's been 4 or 5 years and GG has aged. The average fan will be happy because Canelo will tear up GGG on his next one. And that's what they want to see. They'll say, you had doubts, but the first one and doubts about the second one, now there it is. That's the way it goes. So leading into the fight, Bivol and Canelo, they already have plans. Everything goes well, then Canelo, they're looking past Bivol to do a Golovkin third fight. They'll do a third fight with GGG. Why not? After the last, it's been years. Canelo has been active. Canelo is young and strong. He's getting better. GG had not much activity, but he's getting old. Okay. Hardcore fans not excited. For us, the people that live boxing, whatever, the hardcore boxing fans have about the Canelo Golovkin trilogy match. So basically he's saying that they're not that happy. For us, the people that don't know boxing and the average fan, is great. Now they're finally getting to settle what happened in the first 2 fights. Business-wise, we know what's going to happen. Canelo is going to tear up on GGG. Why? Because he's too young. GGG is already 40 years of age. 40 is 40. Okay, we're going over the same ground now. So then he goes on to say, the boxers, when they start between 18 to 30, there are some boxers that are really technically, and they don't really go into brawls. 32, 33, but after that, believe me, it's downhill. There's only a certain point of a boxer but after that, you start to get old. I think fighters after 32, you're already declined. When you're 18 to 30, you're already declined, says Old Diaz. Okay. So there you have it. Old Diaz gives his take on Gennady Golovkin v Canelo Alvarez. And I kind of like, look, Canelo probably should have fought Golovkin a year or two after, but I think people have got bored of it. I'm not high on the fight at this point. I said to you guys, I'm not that interested. You know, it's a fight that's still a big fight because it's Golovkin and Canelo, but it's a fight that, you know, for me, if they were going to do a trilogy, it should have happened a year or two after. Look, people are going to say Canelo aged Golovkin, which effectively he has, because obviously Canelo didn't really need to, you know, he could have fought Golovkin right away. He could have fought a trilogy. But Canelo wanted to do some other things. But Golovkin is 40 years of age now. I'm not that interested. Like, it's still a decent fight, but I don't think it's that big a fight. I think it's aged. I think it's past its best. I think it's past its sell-by date. I'd rather see a Charlo fight. I'd rather see something else. I don't really want to see a Golovkin fight because I've seen it twice. You know, I don't see it being any different. I only see it being more conclusive in Canelo's favor. And I don't feel like a prime GGG and a prime Canelo wouldn't be able to tag Golovkin like that. It doesn't matter how good Canelo gets. People say Canelo's Canelo. He's still a great fighter, and he was a great fighter when he fought Golovkin. He just can't beat Golovkin well. He can't go in there and batter Golovkin. Golovkin's too good for that. He's too good. So the problem is now that Golovkin's 40 years of age. If Canelo goes in there and beats the crap out of him, right, and then people will say, well, look, Canelo was just better. I'm not denying Canelo might be better than Golovkin, and he's definitely more accomplished, he's got a better legacy, but in terms of them going head-to-head, Canelo wasn't leaps and bounds ahead of Golovkin. He just wasn't. Because for me, Golovkin won the first fight, and the second fight, Canelo won, but for me, that was close. And the first fight was close, but I don't think there's that much between them if you put them head-to-head. That doesn't mean, like, that doesn't mean that Canelo's not a greater fighter and Canelo's not done greater things. But if you put Canelo and Golovkin in their primes head-to-head, Canelo doesn't tear Golovkin open. He just doesn't. We've seen the fight twice and Canelo never beat him by a huge margin. There was many people that had Golovkin winning both. There were some people that had, you know, the first fight, I think majority of people had Canelo winning. The second fight, I think, you know, a lot more people probably had the fight for Canelo. Maybe there was a lot of people, I still feel people favoured Golovkin in that one. A lot of people favoured Golovkin. So for me personally, I think it's 1-1, but I think Canelo's going to batter Golovkin in this rematch. And I think that's because of the fact that Golovkin's aged, not because Canelo's got so much better. Canelo might have got a little bit better, but like I said, if you put a prime Golovkin in there with Canelo won't batter him. You know, it just wouldn't happen. Like, I'm a massive Canelo fan and I wanted Canelo to win when he fought Golovkin, because I just prefer Canelo over Golovkin. But in terms of them as fighters, I think if you were to put them head-to-head 10 times, I think in their prime for prime, I think they'd be close fight 10 times. I just think stylistically, it's just a beautiful matchup. It's a war, and they're both very skilled fighters. Golovkin doesn't get credit. Yeah, Golovkin might not have the defense, but Golovkin's a very good pressure fighter, a very technically sound pressure fighter. Comes forward, he cuts off all the angles, and he's just a monster. He just hits very hard. And he's a very strong guy. He's got a granite chin. He's got one of the best chins in the history of the sport, Golovkin. And I just think, like I said, I think Golovkin's been very underappreciated. I do look at Golovkin's career and think it's his fault as well, because I personally think that why didn't Golovkin move up to 168? Why didn't Golovkin take more chances? And I think Golovkin would look back at himself and say, you know what, I think I missed out. I think I didn't do myself justice. I think I could have done a lot more in the sport of boxing. That's what I think Golovkin will look at himself and probably say, you know what, I could have done more in this game. And he should have done more in this game. Unfortunately, Golovkin didn't take the chances that Canelo did. But Canelo had the financial clout. Canelo had the stardom, the fan base to do it as well. Golovkin didn't really have the machine, the powerhouse behind him either. So we've got to look at everything. But for me, Golovkin should have taken more chances. Bygones are bygones, and what's happened has happened. But to be honest with you, I'm not that overly excited about Golovkin Canelo 3. If I'm totally honest with you, I reckon I'd be more excited for Canelo Charlo. I'm not overly excited for Canelo Golovkin 3 because I think I know how it's going to play out. You know, unless Golovkin just turns back the clock, or unless Golovkin just does something incredible, I think I see how this picture's going to end. You know, I think I see, you know, when you're watching a movie and you kind of know how this movie's going to end. it becomes less interesting. Or if you've seen the movie and you're watching it again, it's not as interesting as it was watching it the first time. And I think that's this kind of script. I think we're going to see a fight, but we're going to see a fight where Canelo's going to be far more dominant, and Canelo's going to put a end to this chapter by having a dominant win, when I think it's unfair, because I think Golovkin is 40 years of age, he's past his best, and I don't think Canelo would be able to dominate a prime version of Golovkin. I just don't think he could. So I think Canelo's going to get a victory over Golovkin now and batter him, because I think Golovkin's so past his best. And that's what it is. Golovkin wants the payday, he wants the money, and Golovkin wants an opportunity to avenge. He feels he's been unjustly treated. He feels that he should have won both fights and he's been robbed. You know, that's how Golovkin feels. But I just feel like Golovkin, for me, his legacy will never be, he'll never be given credit for, because I feel like a lot of his legacy was on the Canelo fight, and he got a draw and a loss. When really it should have probably been some people would say it should have been a win and a draw, or a win and a win. Do you see what I mean? So Canelo's, you could say that Golovkin's probably been hard done by, some people would say. For me, it was a win and a loss. I personally thought Canelo won the second one, and I thought Golovkin won the first one. And I think that Canelo, for me, will go down the greater fighter, will have the more accomplished resume, will go down, he's a better fighter in terms of what he's achieved. But in terms of if they went head to head, I don't see Canelo being levels above him. I think they're kind of same. I think if they go head to head, I think the fight would be even. If prime for prime, if they go head to head, I think it's even. Even this version of Canelo. Canelo just hasn't fought a Golovkin, you know, in the recent years. He hasn't fought anybody on that level. Prime Golovkin was way better than anyone that Canelo's been in the ring with in the last 2 or 3 years. Like, if we're honest with you, after Mayweather, Golovkin's the best guy that Canelo fought. Let's be brutally honest, like, Golovkin is by far the best guy that Canelo's been in the ring with, you know, after Mayweather. So that's just my take on it. And listen, I think Golovkin, for me, won't get the recognition, and rightfully so. He doesn't deserve the recognition of Canelo, because Canelo's done more, he's accomplished more. But in terms of them going head to head, I think it would have always been a close fight. I think it would have always been nip and tuck. I think it would have always been a seesaw type of fight. I think they were kind of similar in terms of, I think Golovkin, it's not even that Golovkin's more versatile. Golovkin isn't more versatile, Canelo's more versatile. But Golovkin's style was a problem for Canelo, and it always would have been a problem for Canelo. He's a big, strong guy who can punch, who's a very good pressure fighter. And he's just a monster. You know, Golovkin was just a great fighter, so he was always going to be a problem for Canelo. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. What do you make of this? What do you make of what Old Diaz says, that Canelo's waited for Golovkin to get old? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.